Hello students, I hope you all are fine. So today we are going to complete the chapter that is a story of democracy. We are in the last part. Now let's start with a topic that is the democratization and inequality. Now democratization is not easy in a society that has been long history of inequality based on caste, class and gender. So it is basically a type where there is a diverse communities are living and there are inequalities and discrimination on the worldwide basis. So democratization is not easy. Now this unequal and undemocratic social structure is not surprising. In many cases certain members belong to particular groups, communities, caste or villages included, informed about meetings, activities of the village. So unequal and undemocratic social activities are not very much surprising in the village. It is usually done. Basically the rich elites are imposing their decisions on the rural peasants. So this is not surprising. These are done in the village level. Basically in the cities also and towns also it is done, but mostly it is seen in the village level. Now for example, you see the Gram Sabha members are often controlled by small members of rich landlords, okay, usually hailing from the upper caste and landed peasantry. So Gram Sabha is basically controlled by the small members of the rich landlords and the urban caste. Okay, now they make decisions on the development activities, allocate funds, leaving the silent majority as a outlooker. So the majority peoples are the outlooker. They cannot make the decisions. Only the rich elite classes make the decisions. That is a small number of people. So you can see there is a democratization and inequality at the both same time. So this is seen in the village level also and in urban areas also. Another report on how new institutions of the Panchayati Raj in some cases are bringing about radical changes. So in some areas there are being protests and there is a progress, and so radical changes are transforming this inequality. So this was the point which I described. And now second point, that is the political parties, pressure groups and the democratic politics. So these three parties or pressure groups which initializes the society in progress, or basically looks into the matter of human progress or on a particular issue on anything. But let's go through some points. Now democracy, as you know, that is a form of government that is of the people, by the people and for the people. Now we also saw in the story that Indian democracy containing the interest of different groups. So in the constitution they are focusing on the different groups, and look at the newspaper every morning will show you many instances of different groups seeks to make their voices heard. So there are different types of groups which protects against the some cases or issues which are irrelevant in the society. So you can see in newspapers that oppositions are going against the cases there. So the question, however, arises whether the interest groups are comparable. Can an illiterate peasants or literate workers make her cases to the government cohesively and convincingly as industrialists? So the poor, can the poor and the common people make their notion to the government for the improvement, or the only urban elites can, or the industrialists can, only they can do it? So there is a huge questions. So neither the industrialist nor the peasant or workers, however, represent their case as individual. So neither one person cannot handle the case. So there should be forming a community, a group should be formed to promoting the case to the government. So neither the industrialists nor the peasant or the workers, however, represent these cases as individuals. Individualists form associations. So individuals form associations such as Federation of Indian Chambers and on Commerce, Association of Chamber of Commerce. So these are the industrialist communities. Then comes the workers from the trade unions such as Indian Trade Union Congress or the Center for Indian Trade Union. So these are the associations for the workers. Farmers forms the agriculture union as Shakti Sanghatan. Agriculture workers have their own unions. So these, and tribal and environmental movements also has their own union. So like in Chipko movement, they were grouping against some other examples are also there. So these were the they do not act as individuals, they form groups. So in a democratic form of government, political parties are the key actors. So political parties may define an organization oriented through achieving legitimate process of government through an electoral process. So the ideal form is of government is the political parties. So political parties is organization established with the aim of achieving government power and using the power to pursue the specific program. So they are pursuing specific program, they want their specific needs. Political parties are based on certain understanding of the society and how ought to be. So political parties has some definite decisions or definite criteria they are looking upon, so they are supporting upon. And in a democratic system, the interests of the different groups are represented by different political parties. So different groups are being represented by the different political parties who take up their cases. So these cases are being taken up by the political parties only. Different interest group will also work towards influencing the political. Different interest groups also will go through the political parties and influence them also. Then comes the interest groups are organized to pursue specific interest in their political arena, operating primarily lobbying the members of the legislative body. In some situations, there are political organizations which seeks to achieve powers but are denied the opportunity to do through standard means. Some political parties are achieve powers but cannot do the opportunities through standard means. So in the democracy, you can say political parties is only having the power to handle up the case, and even the trade unions, committees where the political parties are focusing, the interest groups also forcing the political parties to look into their matters. So these are they are called the pressure groups. Even on the other hand, you can say political parties as the pressure groups, they are influencing the government through various opposition and progress process. So it is obvious that all groups will not have the same access or same ability to pressurize the government. Everybody has the same amount of capacity to pressurize the government. Some therefore argue that the concept of the pressurized groups underestimate the powers that the dominant social groups as caste, class, gender or have in the society. Some are being underestimated by the caste, class and gender also. They feel that it would be more accurate to suggest the dominant class or classes control the state. So everybody feels that the dominant class will be only protesting against it, even because smaller groups are not being looked into. So this does not negate the fact the social movement and the pressurized groups will continue to play an important role in the democracy. So that does not mean that the social groups and the political smaller groups will not focus on or will not progress on the society, but they will also continue. But initially they are giving the power to the recent political parties or dominant groups to achieve their interest. So this was a notion about the interest group, pressure groups, political parties, which is a key group in the democratic form of government to achieve something in the society. So this was the thing which I have discussed in this chapter and completed it. So I hope you have understood the content from this video. If you have any question, ask in the comment section. So thank you, students.